Hello everyone. Today we are interviewing my good friends Jen and Audwin. They are fellow investors as well, but I want to get to the bottom of it. Like, let's start with why you started investing in the first place.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Well, for me, the potential of real estate, para siyang like it's for wealth building, and it's like as one of the foundation for building wealth, and also just securing your future. It's a very, very good way. It's a proven way. So yeah, investing in real estate is a really, really good strategy if you wanna, build wealth, retire early, and also build your future. Ikaw.
Yeah, and for me also, it is a really good strategy to retire early, build wealth, and it was also ingrained to us mostly by your parents to get your foot in the door of real estate. His parents inspired us so much with property investing. And it is a way of securing yourself financially, so you don't have to work until you're 65. So there's nothing wrong with working until 65 if you
67
enjoy,
now for
67
people our age.
if you enjoy it but up to what time, up to what age are you going to live, and then by the time you're retired, you're too old to travel, and we love traveling, so it's always the goal: retire early and enjoy the rest of our lives.
That's good. Thank you. Now, you did not exactly start at zero. It was not a very smooth sailing ride for you. And I personally remember because I was there when you had your divorce. And Audwin, I hope you can share your story as well. Now, take us back to that moment. That was before the first property, and take us to that journey, through that journey.
Before the first property here in Melbourne.
Before the first property in Melbourne.
Yeah,
Even the first property in Sydney. What happened to it, and all of that.
Yeah. So if people have read the Philippine Times article last year,
Life after divorce.
Life after, thank you. I wrote the article Life After Divorce, but it is not about a breakup story. It is really a success story that we can rise through the ashes and be triumphant. So
It's as ashes as it can get. I remember very clearly those moments. Because if for people who don't know us personally, we have been friends for a long time, and we were together at that stage when you were going through that whole divorce thing. So take us through that journey.
Through the journey. So I was married before him, and we were still young then, and things didn't work out. So we had our first property in Sydney that I sadly needed to sell at that time because I was not yet an investor mindset, and in hindsight I shouldn't have. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, when I started here, I was zero, really negative in my finances. So Alvin, I don't think if he remembers, I really have to remind him that he lent me $1,000 to survive in Melbourne during my first few months, because it's tough because I have so much bills to pay still, while transitioning from my divorce in Sydney to Melbourne, and that's a lot of debt. So I got credit cards, I got personal loans, I got car loans. So I didn't really start like I have like a huge money in the bank, because of really bad financial decisions. While we were still married, we were spending a lot of money.
What were you spending it on?
A lot, because my then husband wanted an item each, so we don't really share items.
Yes, I
So,
remember.
you
Like an
remember?
iPod.
Like
So
an
you-
iPad each, an iMac each laptops, each cameras, SLR camera. So really, he doesn't really share his stuff, and that's
Red flags.
red flags. But then but we're in good terms. But and then when you're young, you don't really think much about the future because we don't have people that guide us back then. We don't have any mentors or or belong in a circle of friends that's financial savvy or investor mindset. It's just just spend.
Is it safe to say that you were comfortable with debt?
Yes, very.
With consumer debt, so
Yes,
as Rich Dad says, bad
yes,
debt.
yeah. So very comfortable. I'm not used to having money in my bank.
You were
Yes.
not used to.
No. It's like, oh, I got money here. What can I buy? Not thinking that I have credit cards. And those credit cards are not just, $3,000 or no. The maximum, like 25,000.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm still
remember we
very-
did the numbers one day, and it was very difficult to face at that stage.
So when I was going through that divorce, I went to him and we crunched down my numbers, and I told him all the debts. I just confessed every single bit, and he had a headache.
By liquidating the property, though, we were able to pay off the debts.
A
Right?
little bit.
So
Not-
we were.
not-
So okay. So at least it helped.
Yeah, it did help. So the sale of the property, we halved it. We didn't really, I didn't make too much of a fuss. Who
Just
has to
wanna
have
move on.
more? Just have to move on. Split it in half, clear. So at the time, I think I had 40,000 from the property sale, and then paid most of it off.
Yeah.
So I started from there, and I didn't really save much either because it was like a new chapter for me. So I wanted new stuff. I've been going out a lot, traveling.
And you bought the big car.
Big
at
car,
the time.
yes.
The big SUV.
But, not thinking that it will cost petrol, the insurance.
Yeah.
So again, I don't have much good influence at that time because you were in Sydney.
Yeah.
You can't be with me 24/7.
Okay. Now, around that time, Audwin, you were going through your own personal struggle as well
Yeah.
in the previous relationship. Do you want to share with
Yeah.
us some of the details?
Sure.
of
Yeah,
it?
there's a lot of similarities. I think that's why we get along so well. No, I mean like what you said, we all go through things in life, challenges, and I just remembered that time. Yeah, like it's a lot of adjustment. Just realizing when you start from the bottom again, like it feels like it's so overwhelming because you have debts to deal with, personal issues. It can be really, really like overwhelming where you don't know where to start. But then it's good to not just have a mentor, but to sit down and like what you mentioned, you did the numbers, and that really sort of like gave me a wake up call that I need to do something with my finances, because otherwise I'll keep drowning and I won't be able to recover. It's not just like the emotional strain, like if you're already going through some personal stuff, and then you add the financial stress, it can really lead to many other health issues as well. So that time was difficult, but I did realize that the root cause of that is, well, half of it at least would be like the bad debt. So once I realized that, I started like clearing it, and I didn't even think about how I'm gonna pay it, but my main goal was just to pay all the debts and never repeat the same mistakes again. And proudly to say, I haven't looked back. Like that was the last one. So we haven't had any major issues because I learned my lesson the hard way. So to folks out there, like it's not to the end of the world if you're thinking you can't manage your debts or whatever like that, because like you just have to look at someone like me. If I can do it, you can definitely do it too.
Now, was there a rock bottom moment that made you decide that enough is enough, that I will take responsibility for switching the the trend in your financial
Yeah.
lives? Was there a specific moment?
Yes, of course. So that time where I realized that, hang on, I can't, you mentioned my parents, like I can't keep relying on them and looking at my bank account. This time, hang on, I'm gonna be short, or I'll call my mom or whatever. Like, I need some help with my bill.
And how old
That
were
that
you?
was the moment when I would have been in my late 20s, early 30s. So
Was
I
this
think
while you were in the
Yeah.
the marriage?
the process of
Okay.
transitioning from the divorce.
Okay.
So that was my rock bottom when I'm
Mhm.
realizing that.
So you were married,
Yeah.
and then you were asking mom for
Yeah, like,
for,
why do I-
for support,
Exactly. Yeah.
for
that was-
bills.
Yeah. Financially, that was the rock bottom for me.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I've moved out of the house. I'm not a teenager anymore, and here I am, still needing help.
Mhm. Jen, did you have one? Did you have a moment that you could think of,
Um,
or was that time in my kitchen in Randwick, that when we saw the
yeah, the figures.
totals?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Mhm.
Like, it's too much, and until you write it down on paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone is really telling you this is how much you owe and what are we gonna do about this.
Yeah. That's good.
I think because I'm very visual, so I need to see
Yeah,
things in
yeah.
writing. So otherwise I would just be in my mind, I got this bill to pay, that bill. But
Yeah.
until you write it all down, it's like a wake up call.
Now, I wanted to set the platform of where the rock bottom was for you. Now let's jump to today. Where are we at today in terms of our investment portfolio?
I'm very shy about this, but from what I heard from the figures, we're really doing good here. from that moment to now, financially mature. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but yeah, like, would you agree?
Yeah.
We're financially mature.
Definitely. So we, in terms of
Yeah, what I want are the specifics. So
Right.
we have one PPR, your owner occupied. We have the first home became the first investment property, which is still being tenanted. The second home, the second PPR, which also became an investment property.
Yeah.
So, and then just recently you secured your fourth property in total, and we are finishing the build soon.
Yeah.
Yes, in
Couple
March.
months.
Yeah.
And that will be the third investment property.
Correct.
So sorry, I answered the question for you.
It's
so
very shy.
so
I'm very shy.
now that well and truly puts you in the top 1% of the Australian investors, according to the RBA statistics, at least. So what does it feel like being in the top 1% of the
It gives me
Australian
goosebumps.
investors?
It gives me goosebumps just to think that you can turn your life around.
Mhm.
Even if, we're discussing about being in rock bottom. Like, it gives me hope, and also the determination to encourage others. And now that we're telling our story, we feel like this is the time that we should be, like, giving away our experiences, sharing it to everyone. So not to boast, but to inspire others as well.
Definitely.
But I feel really good about
Yeah.
where we are right now.
I know every time
Blessed.
it sounds really good coming from Alvin. You're the top 1% of first world country, and it's it's really hard work because we didn't really get much help.
Yeah.
We got help from we borrowed money from your parents, but most of it is really hard work. We lived in your parents' home,
Yeah.
and that helped a lot.
Yeah.
But most of it is really through sacrifices and
Lots of sacrifice.
a lot of
Like
not-
behind
not
the
eating-
scenes.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of not eating out. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll discuss it later on with
yeah.
Alvin's question, but yeah, that's
But yeah,
definitely a lot of sacrifice.
it feels surreal sometimes,
Mhm.
that we reached this point at this point in time that how many years was it? 8 years.
Yeah.
In just 8 years, we were able to reach that. I always get tired. I always tell Alvin that I don't want to do this anymore. If I'm on my second property, I don't want to do this anymore, and he will still keep pushing us through, which we're really grateful, because otherwise we would have just stayed there. And we're wanting to pay this forward and help others to reach this goal as well.
Thank you for giving us a bit of the background of where we started and where we are at now. Now, I want to go through the steps that got you there. So, can you take us back to the moment? So, when you first started dating and before the first property, because at that stage you still had like those debt problems and stuff like that. So, could you share with us the journey that you went through together?
Yeah. So when we first started dating, I love traveling, and so does he. So so we will plan our travels. But then I think there came a time when he was really struggling financially to keep up with my lifestyle, because I'm earning as a nurse, and I can afford to travel like immediately. You know how it is with us. But then with him trying to keep up with that lifestyle made him more into debt, and he was not. I was not aware of his financial position then, because when you're starting dating, you're putting your best foot forward, and you're not really gonna say, oh, I was this much in debt, and you're not honest then, and then
I agree.
you can continue.
No, I agree, 100%. So it's some may like to call it you bring your excess baggage, but I don't like saying that. It's just like what I mentioned earlier. You have like things that happened in the past that didn't work out, and I wasn't being transparent at that time, and it got out of hand. Like the budgeting was out of whack. Like I'd be buying something, I'll be going somewhere with her, but then not realizing when it comes to the time when it's time to pay the bills. That is the big issue, because there's no cash flow to get everything going. And one more thing, like getting all these credit cards, loans,
And same day cash loans.
yeah, so,
Came down to-
everything, every loan you can think of. I've used the facility. So that's how bad it was. And I'm sharing this because I want to be brutally honest that things like this happen to us where we struggle financially, and when there's a time that we might need someone's help, or sometimes we just need to be honest with our position, especially to our partners.
Yeah. It was very difficult for you because we were just starting dating, and here was I was like, what did I put myself into?
Did anyone know at the time?
No. I actually tried to handle it on my own. Like, I'm gonna deal with this, and at the same time, my divorce was just coming to an end at that time, from my memory. So, it really takes a lot of toll on your mental health. Like, so that's why I think part of it is also like trying to please yourself, like self-gratification. I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna get this now, without thinking of the consequences, because you're still in la la land. Then you can still be normal. Like financially, I'll just buy anything. So that's my mindset back then.
Yeah.
I think you were just starting dating when you bought the Ford.
Yeah.
And I can't recall, but I thought you said, I just traded the old one for the new one.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
correct.
didn't know any of those things, like how can you do that? And then after years I realized, it means that you rolled over the debt of the old car to the new one.
Exactly right. So my mindset at the time, and please, this is not financial advice, and anyway, if it is, this is wrong. Don't listen to this. So what I had in my mind is yung parang, I'm gonna do this, get this loan para mapakba na isang loan. Like to pay the other loan off, you just get a more expensive loan, which doesn't make sense now. But then at the time, it's like it's an upgrade, and then at the same time, I'll cover the business expense with my other vehicle. But then after that, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I've got 2 vehicles and a business car. So I had 3 under my name, and being in debt as it was, like it didn't make matters easier. And I just learned recently as well that with the interest rate at the time, it was actually different. They go by your credit rating, so you pay more. So bad mistake, big mistake. Yeah.
And so how did you start resolving it? So you said you mentioned honesty with your partner. So and I'm sure that takes a lot of vulnerability, like exposure to vulnerability. That's a very courageous thing, especially at that stage. Or did you wait until the relationship was not long?
No, it wasn't that long. And I can't remember how it came up.
I think I know.
Yeah.
Because when that time, you were asking me, I was trying to get rid of one car, like trying to sell it, and I only had it for like 3 months. So that's when I think your red flags.
Yeah.
And then you sort of soon realized that I needed help, and I presented myself. This is.
And it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad because you got a lot of credit cards. I don't know how many. You got those 3 cars, and then you got those same-day loans, like
credit card.
Yeah, and
store card.
Yes, and store card. So
I did mention that. I forgot. Yeah.
Yes.
Those cards where you can buy instant electronics. That's also a credit facility. Because Afterpay didn't exist that time.
Yeah, thank God. So you have used that too.
Okay, so after honesty, what happened
Yes.
next?
So I braced myself for impact. Because I know it's not gonna be a good conversation and an easy one. So lots of tears, right?
Yeah.
So it was tough, but
No,
then
I feel so bad for you because I felt like I also contributed to that position because I always asked him to go away with me overseas.
Without understanding the full financial position.
because I wanted to please you, like, let's go. Doesn't matter. I'll deal with this later. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, I knew that it's the wrong thing.
Yeah, but I have no idea at that time, so I really felt bad. That I contributed to it. So anyway, we did sat down and did what you did to me and wrote it all down one night, and then when I calculated it, it wouldn't really fit your income. You're negative, so I cleaned that off. So
It's a bad deficit.
it's really it's a lot of deficit. So the only way is to help you through it. So what we did was consolidated it, and we applied for a personal loan.
Under both your names?
I think just under my name.
Okay, so you assisted,
Yeah.
you helped one another by doing a
Yeah.
loan consolidation, and that was it. That enabled you to get ahead of the payment.
Pay it off.
Yeah.
And then at that time, we acquired. The photo booth was being sold to us.
At the same time.
Yeah. I think a few months after, and then it was really a good source of income. So I told him, you can work for the booth, and your salary from the photo booth will go towards.
I remember the photo booth because I think that was Alan's first job in Australia.
Wow.
Ian would have been what?
Years.
15?
Yeah, he worked there too.
About that time.
He worked there too.
Yeah, so okay, so that enabled you. So having a side hustle enabled you to
Definitely.
to pay off the loan faster.
Yes.
I paid that in less than a year, actually.
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
so it was just a matter of having the right strategy.
Yeah. We
Ah.
budgeted
Yeah.
how much, you're an allowance that time too.
Yeah, I didn't take any salary at all. I just used an allowance.
Yeah. So all his salary goes to me, and then he's just gonna take an allowance, and then if a photo booth gig comes up, which is at that time was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still goes to me because I paid it
Yeah.
off, but paid off his loans faster.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, you did not. So you said you paid it off in under a year.
Mhm.
You did not go back to the old habits though. You just kind of continued.
Yeah.
Because is that when you started
Yeah.
saving
You're right.
for the first property, or what happened after?
You know, that time when I started paying everything through the loan, I think there was one lesson. There was not really like undisclosed, but because there's so many debts, I didn't realize there was one more.
Credit card.
Yeah, because the mail came in.
Oh,
It's like, you see what happens when you lose track.
yeah.
Like, I thought I paid everything off. So that was like, I don't know, one of those GE store cards, something like that. Yeah, I still remember to this day. It was like a letter that they wanted me to pay them. So that was the last one, I think, that we needed to pay.
Yeah.
But that was the moment when I realized, oh my gosh,
You can't keep track.
you can't keep track because there's so many.
Yeah.
So you know, you can't be here.
It's amazing going back to all this.
Yeah.
Now it gives me
But,
really goosebumps.
You know, that is an example of, and like that GE one, if you did not attend to that letter, for example, and ignored it, it could really have damaged your,
yes.
your
it
finances,
would
your credit
impact
score.
severely because now I realize the power of your credit rating because anything you do, they will run a credit check. So you have to be diligent on what you do when you're using your name, even applying for small things. I didn't learn this until
Yeah.
all this investment started. So
Okay. Well, now we went from that to you, because I did not know about credit scores. I learned it from you. You were telling me about it, and so you went from someone who was going through that yourself to being in a position to teach others. So now let's continue with what happened next after paying it all off. Because I kind of, you did not look back. You never went back to getting all those those same day loans or car loans and stuff like that.
yeah, well, after that moment, I didn't want to go back. Yeah, you're right. I think that time we were already friends. We were close already. So it actually has some impact because I feel like there's an accountability more than just one person, you know, looking after me or helping me with my finances. So it is really important to have someone that you can be transparent with, someone you can trust, and
Will not judge you.
yeah, and you know, like going through something like this, I know it's hard and it's not easy to open up to just anyone. But if you have the right support system, then no one will judge you, you know. All you do is just expose it to the world, so you deal with it with more minds and more eyes, you know, like in my experience. Makes it easier. See, like I learned about credit history and paying off debts in a short amount of time. Like that's one thing that I'm.
And you became very paranoid with credit ratings after that, isn't it? You always look at your credit scores.
So after that, periodically I will check my credit file because you always hear about data breaches, especially in recent times where you have companies being hacked of their information. All they need are your license details, date of birth. Then they can use anything for your credit. I mean, in most cases.
Yeah.
So be very careful. It's not financial advice, but this is just what happens.
So is it safe to assume that your credit score is stellar now?
Yeah. I'll claim it. But yeah, now my credit score is near perfect.
Yeah.
Probably 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But if I only missed that letter, I would have been
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a bad position.
So I think two key lessons that I can take away immediately there is your decisions, your financial decisions can make or break your credit score. And second, time, like time and maybe financial discipline will improve, even though your credit score before was severely deteriorated. It
Yeah.
it can go back to stellar. And this is during the times that you are actively investing as well. So it's not like you're not doing anything. You're still taking out loans, but the right kind of loans and things like that. So okay, so thank you for sharing that. What happened next?
What happened next? So we were living at your parents' place because we really wanted to buy a place of our own. I already had my first property in Sydney, and I always really wanted like my own home. So we lived with with his parents for about 3 years, almost 3 years, and really, while he's paying all the loans, we're paying all the loans.
To
Doing
cut back
the business.
on costs, or
Yes, to cut back on costs.
And saving for deposit.
Yeah, and saving for a deposit for the first home. So that's what we did. So we're just renting the one room,
yeah.
and then just sharing the house. So it's Tell me about
That we saved a lot of money. At that time, we were just pretty much just not even renting. We were boarding.
boarding.
We shared everything from bills to meals.
So that kind of sacrifice for 3 years enabled you to go from being in debt to in a position to put a deposit for a first property. Okay.
It's not easy because we're so used to privacy, but it's really worth all those sacrifices. And your parents are lovely, so they're easy to live with, and that's make all the difference.
Okay.
Any to add?
Nah, just going back now.
Sometimes it's difficult.
It makes me teary sometimes, but just thinking about that, you just the reality of it is it's so hard to think that you'll get to that stage. But it's not like we're homeless or anything, but just the amount of time that we spent living there. I mean, I did enjoy everything during that time, but I didn't realize that just the impact of that, what it did to us. We were able to pay off everything and save a lot. So
they did live in a very nice neighborhood.
Yes, they did. And I'm forever grateful.
I'm sure it did not hurt.
No.
I was more of a privacy person. I think that's why.
I love my own space. But I actually enjoyed living there. Like what you said, it's a nice neighborhood. But just now, like I'm just trying to think, it's just a room that we lived in.
All my shoes are on the one corner.
I had a photo, believe it or not. We had a photo of her shoes just all the way to the roof. It literally hit the ceiling.
It was my obsession. Well, no, actually we rented 2 rooms because the other one became my office later on when I was working from home. So.
That was the spare room before.
That was the last year of the time we lived there. Yeah, you're right.
It was good times.
It was good times. I love my parents. I love my mom.
Okay, great. Now we are in the story of having enough deposit for the house, for the first house that you bought together. This is in Clyde North. And then what happened next? So you got your goal, which was to have an owner-occupied home.
Yeah.
And what happened? Saan nanggaling yung second, parang desire to get the second property?
You want to start? No.
Yeah.
I remember that time na parang, oh wow, we're on top of the world. We got our first home, we moved in. All of a sudden realized that let's have a look at the neighborhood. And then, when we saw that there's a lot of potential in there, parang naisip lang na, let's have a look at another property. And I think we were also talking with friends like you was interested and you learned more about this. I remember you told me the story that you used to go to the library, learn about investing, something like along the line. So anyway, to cut it short, parang we had a look at one house. It's in, I think, Cranbourne, and then after that we looked at our serviceability and it was possible. So we did more research if we should go ahead and whatnot. Yeah, we went from there. So like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? But we didn't realize at the time the potential.
And I think again, I was inspired by your parents because they got 3 properties at that time.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
your mom was working in aged care, and Rob was panel beating, and our our salary combined is close to what they're earning.
And they never stopped encouraging us.
Yeah,
And always
and I
saying,
thought if they can do it, we can do it too, definitely. And at that time, Ace and Roselle's buying their first one,
yeah.
and then there's available in the property, and yeah, we jumped to the opportunity.
And yeah, sorry.
Let me just ask, because you mentioned about the serviceability. Now, it was important that your first house, your first house together, was not your dream house. I think it's important to note that. And because it was not your dream house, you did not maximize your borrowing capacity. Now, that enabled you to have space for a second property.
Correct.
Now, okay. Now, it was just looking at the what was available, and
Exactly.
now what happened next? Because anyone can be shopping around, but not everyone will be buying their second property.
You were right about that. We actually drew a lot of inspiration too from my mom, my parents. And then when we realized, actually, just being honest, the first time we moved into the house, we knew that it's not gonna be our forever home, and it's not like the dream home. The main goal is to have our own house, and we achieved that. So I knew from that time we're not gonna stop here. But then I didn't realize how we're gonna do it. What are the next steps? So from there, we looked at it, and like what you said, let's do it. But we didn't know that at that time ganun pala yun, like you have to assess first. You can't just sign.
Yeah.
You can't rush everything.
So we're guided by the experts.
Yeah.
So we went to a broker
Yes.
and educated us.
Yeah. Because if you were to ask me, at that time, all I'm thinking is, okay, I like this house. Let's sign it now. But I'm not thinking about the logistics behind, purchasing a property. So yeah, exactly.
We kind of had to learn that along the way. Like before, like I did not know the purpose of a conveyancer. I did not know what a broker was. We thought, you need a loan, you go to the bank.
Yeah.
Which we did. We went to the same banker before. Okay, so and then you got the second house, and it was not without its difficulties, but you managed to get it.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the moment you moved into that new house, I heard about the third property because I went on another vacation and you took me to Berwick, to Minta Estate. It was just all pure land then at the time. And then so what happened there?
I'll tell you the story. This is really funny. I was the one itching, looking, like all we did was, let's have a look around the neighborhood, because at that time you wouldn't believe it. There's so much land in that area, and the prices were
In Clyde North.
Yeah, Clyde North, all that southeast corridor now that they're saying in southeast Melbourne. There's a lot of land, so we were thinking, let's have a look here. Let's go here. Let's buy, and I was the aggressive at that time. But God has a plan, like we didn't get the right property at the time, so we ended up in Minta, in Berwick. We knew at this time that the third one there might be challenges, but we pressed on. I mean, like what you said, it didn't come with challenges. Like it's not like a smooth sailing, right?
And this was the time when we were getting married as well.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots on our plate.
Yeah. So we were buying our third, and going to get married. And what prompted our third was there was spare money from the equity. And I was
Equity
like,
from the first?
from the first. Yes, from the first.
So you released
You're
equity
still-
from the
yeah.
first to pay off, to put as a deposit for the
For
second.
the second. And then
To
there's
settle
no
the
spare.
second, and then there was a spare money,
Yeah.
and you wanted to use that
Yes.
leveraged for a
Yeah.
third property. Okay.
Well, we were that aggressive thinking, okay, we can put a deposit, let's do it.
We're crazy. And then we're getting married.
Yeah.
We
But
had some-
that now, you both got married twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is a side note. The two weddings
Mhm.
were as different as it could be.
Yes.
Tell me
Definitely.
just quickly what.
Yeah.
So the first
Gosh.
wedding was what 300 guests or something ridiculous like that.
200 or you know how is it in the Philippines?
Yes.
Most of
I think
whom you don't.
I don't know
really
that,
know
or I only met
personally.
once or I don't even know at all. And then I spent like almost 1 million pesos.
Hmm.
At that time it was really
Yeah, yeah,
expensive
yes.
because it was 2000.
And that the exchange rate was like
Yeah.
20 something.
Yeah.
That was
so-
during the GFC.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then your wedding was how many? Oh, you had 2 weddings. You had one here and
Yeah, so the same, like, but not 300, but over 100 at least.
Quite costly as well.
Yeah.
And then your last wedding
yeah.
was very intimate.
Intimate.
Yes.
And yes, it was a destination wedding, but you did not really spend
No.
anywhere near what you spent on the first.
No, we spent $8,000 the most on that one.
We
Because
learned.
of course everyone needs to pay their own airfare and hotels, but
Mm.
yeah, the place is beautiful already.
From 7 years ago, Jen and I were at church and we were praying, and I said in the prayer that Jen deserves someone that will look after her the way she looks after other people. And within the year she met Audwin. So Audwin, actually you owe me because I prayed for you. So and now we're here. So that's it's just a testament that everyone can have a second chance, a third chance at love. There's no end in it. So thanks for having us. Over the course of the day, I've heard Jen say repeatedly that she's very lucky that everyone's here.
But I would personally say that was very memorable.
It is.
So
It is the most beautiful
it
wedding.
really does not matter how much you spent on the
Exactly.
wedding. It's
Yeah.
I guess the
The people.
quality of the
Yeah.
people and you knew all of them.
Yes.
So okay. So sorry, that was just a side note. Now, so here we are, living in our second with a third along the way, but you secured it with guidance of a broker.
Yes.
So, and then
And this
Um,
was different because it's our first from the scratch
Off the plan.
of the plan.
so it's not a spec property. So
It's
it's
not.
not like a single
it's not a
contract
package,
one.
yeah.
So you had to choose the builder.
Yeah.
And I think it was clear to me that this was a forever home when you made that decision, because that you were planning all these things like a double story and
A wine cellar.
a wine cellar. So it was clear that, and I thought that was this is the grand finale. Okay, so now during the build, were there any challenges? Because this was your first venture into house and land purchase. So were there anything different?
One thing that stuck to me is the word progress payment.
Yes.
That makes so much sense once you're in it.
Yes.
Because we didn't do that in the previous.
And on the first 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a huge learning curve. Everything's a huge learning curve
Yeah.
on the third property.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn new terminologies on the build. You have to choose a lot of things for
Yeah.
the house.
I learned so many, words, setbacks. What is a setback? What is this?
Corner treatment. What's the corner treatment?
And did you have to, because I'm sure no one explained to you at that time that you had to, if your build contract is not a full turnkey, that you had to contact the neighbors for the
Yes.
fences, you had to deal with them, but when they're building, they took it down and then they have to put some temporary fence and you have to deal with all of that.
This one was a full turnkey. The third one.
So they dealt with
Yes,
all of
they
it.
dealt with it.
No,
So
but-
we're lucky though.
But he was right about that because
Yeah.
the neighbor, we had the experience with the neighbor.
Yeah.
They did remove the
They
fence.
did remove the fence.
Yeah.
later
So
on.
was there anything that you had to DIY for this one?
I think we
Yeah.
had a problem with the substation.
Yeah, the fence.
The fence is too low, so lesser privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to contact them if we can. It's not apparently it's not allowed to have color bond on the substations because of the magnets.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't have that. So we just improvised our own fence.
Okay.
Those things,
And,
those little things.
The little things like thinking about the shed. Because all we're used to having that when we moved in. There's a
Yeah.
shed in there, clothesline,
Yeah.
everything. All you do is move it. So yeah, just bits and pieces you learn along the way.
Now, as you were building the third house, the current home, were there any other challenges that you could think of apart from, that it is the first house and land that you were building, that you did progress payments on?
Yeah, one word, COVID. So the pandemic, no one saw that coming, right? So
Blink hits the fan.
yeah, exactly. It's like the world, that time the world turned upside down. The world literally stopped. And as you know, we had all these lockdowns. Jobs have been affected, and I get a message one day saying, sorry, all the restaurants are closed, hospitality, everything, all the shops because of lockdown. So obviously your income stream will be affected because if you work in that industry at the time, you can't work. So that was the biggest challenge. We were worried about the build, obviously, because how are we gonna do this? Because
I was
we
in
have to
panic
settle.
mode.
Yeah. I remember your face at the time. You were really stressed. Like, okay,
I was looking for seek already, jobs
let's
for him.
find another job tomorrow. I'm like, how am I gonna do it? Okay, let's go to seek. Yeah,
Do your resume?
I did it on the fly. I was still half asleep, sipping the coffee and typing the resume.
Because I was really panicking because we're building.
I
And I was
think-
taking a lot of overtime.
This is like self-preservation kicking in. You just want to
I
survive.
was so stressed. I remember, and you were like, and I was so annoyed because he's so relaxed.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay. Don't do something about it. It's like, no, we have to do something about ourselves. When things are not in your control, you panic.
Yes.
Yeah, and that gave us a lesson too. That you just have to trust that everything will be okay, but still be proactive.
Yeah. What ended up happening? You were in the middle of construction. You
Yeah.
lost your job,
Yeah.
but the payments still
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. But then we were able to, work around it.
We did a repayment pause.
Yeah.
So at that time, the banks were so good that they introduced a 3 to 6 month repayment pause. So of course we did the maximum, and that helped us save up more even.
Okay.
But I made sure that it won't reflect
Exactly.
on your credit.
That's the first time we
yeah.
asked.
We asked over and over again
Yeah.
that it won't be on our file.
Yes.
I'll add more to that. So you post that, and we also looked at other things that you can do legally, of course. So which ones you can post without affecting you. For example, council rates.
Yeah.
And reducing your mobile plan, anything that you can reduce. So when these things happen, you just have to think of the worst and what you can do at the time. So that time we just look at the cash flow and just reduce everything.
But then the tenant lost his job too,
Yeah.
so he was unable to pay for a month.
Yeah.
But
At
he
that
repaid.
stage, you have Or you have the one.
One.
Yeah.
But we were able to cover it because of all those
Yeah.
Yeah.
what we did. You know.
And then we save up money.
Then we saved up and we're able to move forward.
Yeah.
So that's one example of a bad thing that we turned out into a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
Because you can't really travel, you can't really eat out. So all we did was keep the money.
And there's a lot of jobs for nurses.
Yeah.
So you were doing a lot of
Yes,
overtime.
I was working
remote
6 days a week.
working?
No, I was going to the hospital because we can't.
Yes.
My colleague can't do 2 campuses, so I have to take over her job. So I was doing 6 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah, of work. So that that did us good.
Yeah.
One more thing, like last resort is, the super. You could have also taken it.
Yeah.
You were allowed, but that one was the last resort. We didn't touch anything, and I didn't want to drain that super.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one good thing too.
Yeah.
Let's move forward to when you moved into the third house. So your current PPR. I remember the first party there was for Christmas of 2020, and around that time was when we first moved to Melbourne. And I remember sitting on your kitchen bench and we had a quick discussion about it, and you said,
Ayoko na. I'm so tired.
So and that is fair enough. That was
Yeah.
after moving.
Yes. We moved in a few weeks before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know that moving is
It's
for me
too
at
stressful.
least it's 10 out of 10 in the stress scale for me. But I assume it's the same for you. And then I remember answering that well, kung pagod ka, you rest but you don't quit.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, you were already looking for your fourth property. So I'm glad that I was right. I want to say I told you so. I won't. Tell us about that journey from third to fourth. Parang it's like a bonus round.
Yes.
Because
Definitely.
everyone assumed that it was the last.
Yes.
We keep saying that, like the second one, the third one.
Because
this is the
I
last
think we
one.
were really itching to travel more
Yeah.
around that time.
Because we also love traveling, so we had to compromise.
But it was COVID. So
Yeah, I think you were bored.
I was
So that time, again, we looked at the numbers, right? We didn't just walk in. So it's really important to have guidance, right? So
Again, we have leftover money. That's what happened.
From the proceeds
From the
of the
settlement.
settlement of the
Yeah.
third. And then, just to clarify, you mean you were guided with the professional, so
Yeah.
you were
Yes.
guided by a broker.
So we know, I guess, coming to the fort, we know how to run the show now. Like you have to ask the broker first, what is your borrowing capacity, so you can shop around with that money and not really going over the limit. So that's what we did. We have spare money from the turnover.
yeah, because
When it hit you.
you always like buffer, your
Yeah.
keyword buffer when in case stuff
Yes.
happens or whatever during
Yeah.
settlement.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
when
what-
it's settled, there's a lot of buffer left over. And there was also bonuses from the estates.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
huge
Referrals and all that,
referral
yeah.
bonuses and stuff.
And if you're an existing owner and you bought a second,
Yes.
another one.
Yeah.
There was
So,
a discount
yeah.
as well.
And
And the trend at that time in Berwick, the houses are really going up and up. And
Yeah.
we thought we might give it a shot and it might fit our budget. So
And so you deposited on another property, another land.
Yeah, without even thinking twice.
yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Now I know that there were a few challenges going from third to fourth. So one of which was you paid off the car.
So we release equity so we can pay off the car and have extra money for deposit. What else do we have to do? We have to find a builder that will fit our budget. We have to the builder should fit our specs, that we want a 2-car garage, 3-bedroom home in this small lot, which is 231 square meters, which is really tiny. So it's boundary to boundary, but it's workable. So that happened. So yeah, we pushed through.
Exactly my thoughts. Sorry. Yeah, like, you know, I just really appreciate now how it's very important to even just calculate everything, do the numbers, and have someone else look at it.
Yes, and we even had a dilemma: do we get a double story or just a single story
So
on that?
even
lot?
those you need to consult
Yeah.
someone. Like in that instance, we asked someone in the industry, real estate. How much is
A rental agent. Yeah.
Rental agent. What's the pros and cons?
Yeah, what's the
Much
price
difference.
difference? Yeah, with what do you call this? With the
Double.
rent. Yeah, with the rent. If it's there's not much.
Yeah.
And then you are like almost 100K more with doing a double story. And then our financial advisor told us, why not just invest your 100 grand into maybe your next lot? Yeah, so
So that's where
So-
we are.
So just to clarify, by the time you were buying your fourth, you not only sought the advice from a broker who gave you some specific strategies, including drawing out equity to pay off the car rather than taking out a car loan, consulting your...
we loaned first. We did a car loan first, and then he asked us to consolidate it with the equity
Okay, so he corrected
Yes.
that act.
to get more services.
You-
So you just unlock a little bit.
Yeah, you also consulted a real estate agent, a rental manager, property manager,
Yes.
before making a decision. And I also heard that you spoke to your financial advisor
Yeah.
Yes.
before making the decision. So you went from kind of winging it to then having a very strong professional team behind you
Yeah.
before
Yes.
making an informed decision. And now we are close to finishing the build.
Yes.
And that is house number 4.
Yes.
Now, what's next?
Are you tired?
Well, with the interest rates at the moment, we have to be honest that we really reached our ceiling at the moment. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Yeah.
that we're stopping, but yeah, at the moment that's what the bank is going to allow us. But when we spoke to our accountant last year, the strategy was to put more money now into our super account and then use our self-managed super fund to hopefully get our 5th over the next few
'Cause
years.
you have set up your SMS.
Yes.
Okay. So your accountant advised you to go and add more money into your self-managed super, which you set up back in the day, back in 2014.
Yeah.
So okay, with the hopes of using that fund to purchase another investment property
Yes.
within the SMSF. Now, again, you sought the advice of another professional, which is your accountant, because not anyone can just say you should
No.
set up
Yeah.
an SMSF. Actually, not even any accountant. It has to be an
Yeah.
SMSF specialist
Yes.
that
Correct.
give that advice, and it has to be with
Yeah, she's an SMSF specialist.
it has to be done in conjunction with
Financial
a financial advice
Yes, correct.
as well.
Right.
So okay, so that's the next plan. Is there anything else that we can expect from you guys this year?
Sorry. There's a lot more learnings, and we want to give back, of course, to the community. So we start off by sharing our experience so we can inspire others.
Yeah.
Mainly, and to it's like give an informed decision on our experience with investing in real estate, actually. So yeah, that's this year.
Yeah, paying
What
it
else?
forward giving our information to those who are, you know, keen investors. I guess we can say that we're kind of experts by now because this is, you know, our fourth property and not much people reach their fourth. So I can say that we're a bit versed with what we're doing with property investment, and we want to help educate people on, you know, pitfalls and, you know, what to watch out for. But you know, you still need to sought professional advice.
Yeah.
We're speaking on experience, but yeah, we're really just happy to help because when we're starting, it's just really us, you know, and your some mentors and your books. But you know, if you have like a strong team, a lot of people who's done it, we've done it, you've done it, a lot of our friends done it. So can you,
and I will add to that. I'm now reformed. I'm going into my 50 without credit card, no debt.
Yay!
So thank you to the team and of course thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
So there will be someone out there who will be too embarrassed to reach out. What can you say to that person if they are hesitating? They might not notice me, or they might not take me seriously if I reach out and talk to them.
We don't bite. No, we are a friendly bunch. We love educating. We have our own vlogs as well. So if you can see our channel with our travel vlogs, we love giving information. So same with property investing. We're really happy to help. It's no cost at all. You know, we just want to pay it forward.
No strings attached.
Yeah, no strings attached. You know, we just want to help because it can be a lonely journey if you don't know property investing. If you're new to it, it can be scary. You know, there's a lot of horror stories. So things that we need to avoid, things that we need to know. It's good to speak to someone and that you're not alone. You know, there are people like us who would want to educate, help people. Yeah.
They have a saying, if you never try, you'll never know. So don't be scared, you're not alone, and I'm just saying this from experience that, you know, having debts is not the end of the world. Literally.
Yes, he's alive. But of course, learn from it.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
Yeah.
So how can they reach out to you?
I guess we're very visible in social media. Through Facebook, just message us.
We'll put our link below.
Yeah, email us. I think it's faster on Facebook Messenger. Or get my number from Audwin. You can call me. You can call him.
Call me, and
Yeah.
I'll give you my stories.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And I
Thank
hope
you,
this guy, the stories that you shared, can positively impact the people who are watching this video.
We hope so
We
too.
hope so.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye guys.